Hey sports fans, and welcome to the Cavalier Sports Report. I am your host, Shawn Simpson, and joining me today is Johnson County Community College's head groundskeeper, Dean Spaulding. Dean, welcome to the show.
Hi, Shawn. Thank you.
So, Dean, tell me about what it is that you do here at the college.
Pretty wide scope of activity for the grounds department. We deal with the athletic fields, inter-campus turf, irrigation, snow removal, signs on campus, asphalt, some of the light asphalt maintenance. It's pretty intensive. So trees, flowers, all that stuff. So.
Wow. Okay, so we could probably spend a long time sitting here going through the extensive list. But tell me, about how many people do you have working in your department with you to handle? Because this is not a huge campus, but it's got a lot of green space.
Yeah, 235 acres, the campus, the whole campus. We have 4 people in the grounds department full-time, 10 people part-time, and then we also have a transportation department with us for the vehicles that go off campus to the college, one full-time and 1 part-time.
Okay. So whenever you're dealing with all of the elements that have to go into this, I would imagine there's probably a ton of planning that has to go into your work. If you're dealing with snow removal, one thing that Kansas definitely has is seasons. So I'm sure you're having to deal with all the seasonal elements. Tell me a little bit about what your process is for just planning, how you have to plan your year for all of that.
A lot of it is figuring out which chemicals you're going to need for the year, bulbs and flowers and all that stuff, and that's usually just about halfway through the year we have to reset that. For a snow removal event, a lot goes into that. We've got to coordinate, depending on the size of the storm, either 1 or 2 shifts, and then be ready to reset that, make sure all the equipment's ready and everybody's notified who needs to be here. And then usually at some point during the evening, or usually around 5 in the morning, if we need to call the higher ups and let them know where we're at and if we think we can get it open or not, or if it's going to be too much to do for that day, so that then they can notify the local news and let them know if it's open or not. So
the actual grounds crew here, the grounds crew staff actually does all the snow removal on site. It's not an outside company that comes in and removes it for us.
No, we have a lot of help from the plumbers, HVAC, maintenance, electrical. The whole maintenance department is chipped in on that.
So. Oh well, that can be a huge job.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the sports fields. So I know that a ton of work has to go into that, because you're not just going to be dealing with the grass and the health of the grass and whatnot, but you also have to deal with the aesthetics and the markings and all that. I know you're going to be preparing. This is fall, so you're going to be preparing. You've got to be preparing at this point for what's going to be happening in the spring. Tell me a little bit about what's going on for what we're probably talking about, baseball and softball at this point.
Soccer, baseball, and softball to a lesser degree. This is not usually the busy season. Theirs is in the spring, starting in March. But soccer's big right now, cross country. Like I said, baseball and softball to a lesser degree. We have to, this is usually the time of year we try to aerify everything and get some seed down on the grass. Usually put a heavy dose of fertilizer out and get it through the winter and get it coming up quick in the spring. A lot of marking on a cross-country course. So once they figure out which way their courses are going, we have to go out and paint that. So some mowing on there to kind of delineate where the lines are, where they need to be running and stuff like that. We've also done some stuff out there this last year with planting some trees to kind of define some corners, some lilacs at a starting finish line, stuff like that. So there's always something going on.
Yeah. Okay. And what about with the baseball and the softball field? Is there anything that goes on at this point in the year just in preparation? You said some aerating and some seeding. Anything else going on in just preparing the grounds?
We will, depending on like the softball field, it's got a clay infield, so we may need to push back. There'll be an edge developed there from the process of them raking it out, and you'll get all that pushed out. We'll need to kind of clean that up and knock that back down again. Other than that, it's just getting the systems winterized, getting a good application of water down, get it through the last part of fall and into winter. So.
Okay. Now, as far as the rest of the campus goes, with all the green spaces that we have, is there any particular place on campus that you, as the groundskeeper, that you sort of hold up as a point of real pride that you guys put a lot of work and a lot of time into?
The area around the big chiller tank hill is kind of one of our bigger focal points. That and the flowers, the bulbs that are put in, that takes a lot of energy and effort, and it usually comes out looking real good. But we have that area around the hill. That's where most of the events, the Campus Craze days and any other law enforcement days are out there. That we try to keep that looking really sharp. So.
Yeah. Well, you do a really fantastic job. So, so one of the last questions I'll ask you is, I know it's probably kind of one of the running jokes among groundskeepers of sports fields, but what's the worst thing you can do for the grounds on a sports field?
I would say play on them. So.
But what's the second worst thing you could do on a sports field?
Probably play on them. So.
Or not play on them?
Or not play on them, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Dean, you guys, you do a fantastic job. The grounds here are absolutely beautiful, and I know that we hear compliments on it whenever people come in. So it's just magnificent to have such a beautiful campus to be here, and your team is such a huge part of that. So thank you so much for being here, and keep up the good work.
We appreciate it, and we enjoy taking care of it. So.
All right. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right. Well, on behalf of the whole JCAV team, thank you to Dean Spaulding for coming on the show. I'm Shawn Simpson, and this has been your Cavalier Sports Report.